Guardians of Dominion, Zeus speaking. The Romantic Skin is being treated as a simple armor upgrade, but the real question is whether it changes when Augustus gets to influence a fight. There is a survivability breakpoint here that most players are about to misread. Watch this carefully. Most players will see plus 10,650 armor and assume Augustus suddenly becomes hard to kill. Wrong evaluation. Augustus has never been about durability. His value starts the moment he influences the damage environment. If he disappears before that happens, you didn't lose a hero, you lost your entire damage structure. So lock this in early. Augustus doesn't need to be tanky. He needs to stay alive long enough to matter. Now separate his threats correctly. His ultimate is immediate pressure. It removes a large portion of health from the enemy's safest hero and forces early healing. When opponents are forced to react early, they stop controlling the fight. But the real long-term danger is superconductivity. Once allied magic damage converts into pure damage, mitigation loses value and health starts dropping faster than teams can comfortably manage. That is when fights tilt. Now let's talk about the skin. The Romantic Skin raises Augustus from 25,279 armor to 35,929. Big number, but survivability is never about size alone. It only matters if it moves you past a kill breakpoint. Open the table. Because this is where the real story shows itself. This is not theory, it's a survival check. You can clearly see which heroes still remove Augustus instantly and which ones lose their clean kill once the armor increases. Start with the backline threats. Kayla, Lara Croft, Daredevil. These heroes don't fight tanks. They bypass the front line and go straight for your win condition. Kayla dives the backline. Lara Croft pressures it with her ultimate. Daredevil damages the backline from range. If Augustus drops before influencing the fight, their job is done. Look at what changes with the skin. Against several mid-penetration attackers, the kill is no longer immediate. It may require another hit, another ability, another moment. That moment is everything. Because Augustus doesn't need extended uptime, he needs a window. One window is enough for him to start reshaping how damage lands across the fight. Without the skin, a clean dive can remove him before he contributes. With the skin, that same dive is more likely to leave him standing, and once he's still alive, the fight becomes harder to stabilize. That is the real value here. Activation reliability. Now reset your expectations before players overestimate this. Look at the extreme penetration tier in the table. These are the heroes whose penetration is high enough that the armor increase doesn't change the outcome. If they reach Augustus with tempo, he can still fall quickly. Jew is the clearest example. He threatens priority targets and his penetration climbs high enough that the breakpoint doesn't fully protect you. So nothing about this skin replaces positioning. Nothing replaces protection. Drafting still decides whether Augustus gets his window. Understand the design correctly. This is not a defensive transformation. It is targeted resistance. It improves Augustus's chances specifically against backline hunters who rely on mid-level penetration to secure fast executions. And it's not accidental, the battlefield is faster now, and heroes that need influence can't afford instant deletion. Dive pressure is higher. Execution windows are smaller. Heroes that depend on influencing damage cannot afford to vanish instantly. One important distinction, Zeus can damage the backline, but he is primarily a healer and typically not the same execution threat as Lara Croft, Kayla, or Daredevil. Dangerous when fights destabilize, yes. A primary eraser, usually not. So ask the smarter question. Does this skin push more fights into the moment where Augustus influences the damage? Because once that happens, opponents don't get the fight they planned. Here is the strategic verdict. If your Augustus already survives comfortably, this skin won't make him feel unkillable. What you'll notice is consistency, fewer fights where he disappears right before contributing. But if your Augustus keeps dying just before he influences the fight, this is where the investment pays off immediately. Not as durability, as timing, as reliability. Augustus doesn't need time to scale, he needs time to exist. The romantic skin doesn't make him hard to kill, it makes him harder to erase before he impacts the fight. And for a hero built around damage amplification, that small shift can decide battles. Now I want your battlefield read. Are backline hunters still reaching Augustus, or are you feeling the extra stability? Tell me in the comments. If this breakdown sharpened your decision making, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, so you stay ahead of what's coming next. Stay strategic. And I'll see you on the battlefield.